TrainerNick here, and if you remember a few videos ago, I said that I really liked tabletop games, especially those involving cards. Well, today I'm here to review one for you. Today, we're going to be looking at Legendary, a Marvel deck building game. So clear your tables, put your dice away, and clear a space big enough for a board like this, because that's what you're going to need to play this game. Legendary puts you, the player, in the role of a shield agent collecting a team of superheroes in order to fight evil. You're collecting these superheroes for secret underground missions, or obvious above-ground missions, or missions. Whatever, just do it. The basic game comes with 15 different heroes. The 6 movie Avengers, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Nick Fury, and a whole bunch of X-Men. That's the very first thing you need to know about this game. There are a lot of X-Men. At the start of each game, the players decide which heroes are going to be available to buy, and then they collect those heroes as cards in order to build the most superpowered deck of all, beat up the villains, and then defeat the evil mastermind before time runs out. Gameplay is deceptively simple, and games can take anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours depending on who's playing and which heroes you've got available. But with the different combinations of available heroes and available villains to go into the villain deck, no two games are the same. So that's the basic concept of the game, but how does it actually stack up? The first thing you might realize is that the setup takes a while to do, mostly because there are so many different options to go into both the hero and the villain deck. To start the game off, players need to select a variation of the heroes to go into the hero deck. These are going to become your available heroes. And the number of heroes available to you depends entirely on the number of people playing and the game mode that's being played. The game modes are the various schemes that the masterminds are allowed to enact, and this is one of the major strengths of the game. Each time you play, it's a different story. Each story is based on a different event from the Marvel Universe, and they do a pretty good job of actually representing those events. Schemes like the superhero Civil War, or unleashing the Legacy Virus. These are various tactics that the masterminds can pull. Speaking of the masterminds, you've got an option of 4 in the basic set: Magneto, Doctor Doom, Red Skull, and Loki. The gameplay is deceptively simple. The mechanics are very easy to understand. Certain cards get you buying points, certain cards get you attack points. The buying points buy you cards for your deck, attack points are used to fight villains. Cards tend to have their own special abilities written on the card. Each hero has a set of 5 commons, another set of 5 commons, 1 set of 3 uncommons, and 1 full art rare. These are the cards available to you, and their cost depends on what kind of card they are. The better ones tend to cost more, the weaker ones tend to cost less. And each hero has its own specific play style. For example, Iron Man plays more of a supporting role, drawing loads of cards, whereas Thor brings a lot of power to the game. Nick Fury tends to work on his own, and revolves around using shield troopers, whereas Black Widow works around rescuing bystanders. X-Men tend to work together, and Deadpool doesn't work with anybody. And one of the more fun aspects of the game is figuring out which characters work well with which other ones. Certain cards work excellently in combination with others, while certain cards don't. It's up to you, the player, to figure out from the available heroes which ones you want in your deck, and then you have to play against the other players to collect those heroes. As I've already mentioned, the game uses masterminds, villains, and schemes to play against the hero. And whilst normally a game would have one player take the role of the evil side, in Legendary, the evil side actually fights back on its own, without any help from any players. This is an excellent aspect of the game, because it means that you don't even have to have friends to play it! That made me sound really sad and alone. It has a solitaire mode. Any game that has a solitaire mode that is fun and easy to play is a pretty good game in my opinion. One of my favorite aspects of the gameplay is that it really makes you feel like you're in control of these heroes and gives you a real sense of what these heroes can and can't do. The individual feeling of each of the heroes, their interactions with each other, it's all just a lot of fun. So on a scale from 1 to 5, I give the gameplay a solid 5. But how are the aesthetics? Let's find out. The game comes with 560 cards. That's 14 cards for each hero, 10 cards for each set of evil henchmen, a further 8 cards for each set of villain groups, 5 cards for each mastermind, a whole bunch of schemes, and 60 specially printed dividers to keep your cards separate. which is a good thing because the game requires a lot of setup and then de-setup. It also has that really nice board that I showed you at the start of the video, which basically looks beautiful. The whole game looks beautiful. The art that has gone into each of these cards is spectacular, and each one has its own particular feel. In the base set, whilst all of the heroes have the same art for their cards, they do have it at various stages. For example, the commons are covered by a frame, whilst the uncommons will have the picture jutting out of the frame slightly, and the rare cards are all full arts, which is spectacular and beautiful. Some of the cards also have flavor text down the bottom, which adds an extra level of fun to the game, and they're all really exciting. Most of them allude to the comic continuity, or just make really good jokes. Seriously, even if there wasn't a solitaire mode in this game, you could actually just sit there and read the cards for a good time. The game's graphic design was done by Krista Timberlake and Brian Bateman, and they did a spectacular job. It was directed by Devin Lowe and Nick Leslie. I assume that's how you say their names from looking at the credits booklet. And they've done an excellent job. They should be commended for their work. This is important because they're based on comic book superheroes, and as we all know, the comic book is a visual medium. So for the game to reflect that visual medium style as well as it does is just mind-bogglingly excellent, especially when you're a comic book fan as big as I am. Overall, I think that Legendary is a very, very solid deck-building game. It just works so excellent. The gameplay is fun, the art direction is exciting, it has everything you need to play it in the box, and the fact that it's never the same game twice, there are endless possibilities. I've made almost everyone that I know play this game, and not one of them has not liked it. Sure, it has some issues where certain heroes are better than others, and if you know the cards better than your opponent does, you have an amazing advantage, but part of the fun of the game is learning how it all goes together. And just how well the game reflects its comic book origins is beautiful, especially to a Marvel fan like me. Overall, I give Legendary, a Marvel deck building game, a 9.5 out of 10 for excellent game. Next time I'll be looking at the expansion Dark City, which brings some whole new heroes, villains, and schemes to the table. So if you've liked this review and you want to see that one, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm TrainerNick. See you next time.